Okay, so did you know that in total overall, the combined global PC and console gaming market reached approximately $80.2 billion in 2024, with projections climbing towards $92.7 billion by 2027? Imagine the gaming industry as an entire economy blasting these figures, which is close to the annual GDP of some countries. PC gaming has showed modest growth, increasing revenue by 2.6% annually. In simpler terms, this growth is slow, like filling a bucket drip by drip. Console gaming, on the other hand, rebounded strongly, anticipated to grow by 7.0% yearly from 2024 to 2027. Blasting through like pouring a water from a large jug. And the norm is also accelerated by the blockbuster releases such as the Wolverine, Nioh 3 and Grand Theft Auto 6. Very soon, PC will take over the handhelds. Consider the Steam Deck machine, ROG Ally, Lenovo Legion Go, and the rest. These are literally taking over the handheld gaming industry with close to 6 million units sold only on Steam Deck in 2025. Whereas for the all-time popular handheld Nintendo Switch 2 is just above 6 million units, close to 7. You can see the race here. So you see, in 2013, at the height of the console gaming era, Valve, the owner and operator of Steam, the biggest PC digital video game storefront, announced an attempt to mainstream PC gaming with a console-like experience and convert millions of console gamers to Steam shoppers along the way. This was their aim. And back in the 90s and the early 2000s, people who preferred console games had a fair and repeatable critique of PC gaming, saying you'd spend as much time fighting the machine as you would play the game. PC gaming, its critics would say, meant a lot of tinkering. For consoles, for all their limitations, it worked. Now, you can experience the lion's share of what PC gaming offers through Steam Deck without worrying about the specs, GPUs or processors, and without ever seeing that Windows blue screen of death, or Windows at all. The Steam Deck condenses many of Valve's best ideas from the Steam machine into a single, reasonable priced, portable device that also can connect to your TV via HDMI, of course. The Steam Deck looks and feels like a Nintendo Switch, but with all the freedom and the perks of a traditional PC gaming. For example, mods no longer require lengthy setups from sketchy website. They can be added to a Steam Deck directly from the Steam Workshop. For people attempted to tinker beyond simple mods, the Steam Deck also includes a Linux desktop experience. A cottage industry of YouTubers, writers, and coders produce a constant stream of guides and tools to simplify one's complex process, like setting up a dozen and more emulators to access to things like the Xbox Game Pass, and this is not only for Steam but also for most PC gaming handhelds. A decade ago, PC manufacturers struggled to translate Valve's vision of the Steam machine into a viable commercial product. They needed to see what success looked like if they were ever hoped to achieve it themselves. Today, the Steam Deck serves as a tangible example of what an approachable market console-like PC experience can be. Companies like the Asus, Alienware, Lenovo, Logitech, and Unio have spent the past year flooding the market with Steam Deck competitors, and the 2025 release calendar is already filling up with plenty more handheld gaming PCs. Okay, so now to the most debate with these two. PC gaming rig is expensive to play current games, consoles are not. Talking about the pricing and the cost. The rising cost of PC hardware, thanks to pricier than ever GPUs, CPUs, and the motherboards, is not an insignificant concern for PC gamers. It seems manufacturers have more or less forgotten about the budget segment and the price-conscious shoppers in favor of selling as many high-end and premium SKUs as they can. The latest graphics card from Nvidia, starting from $549, have only made this clearer than ever. Console manufacturers typically sell their systems at a loss, recouping profit from services and subscriptions. The hardware inside these consoles deliver impressive performance for the price, with the base PS5 still outperforming an equally priced gaming PC, which cost around $500. Today's consoles have reached a level of rasterization, ray tracing, and upscaling that meets the demands of most gamers. While spending $500 on a PS5 or $1,000 on a gaming PC is no normal investment, the PS5 still comes out ahead. Plus, while you likely find yourself upgrading that $1,000 PC in just a few years, a console will stay relevant for at least 4 to 5 years without needing an upgrade. But also have it in mind that the Steam Deck price starts at $399, the ROG Ally starts also at $499, the Legion Go starts at $629. Actually, most gaming handheld PCs starts around $400 and up. Plus, you get to have it anywhere you want because of its portability. Don't get me wrong, all of these are still PC hardwares run on either Windows or Linux base, with most having the ability to dock it to a bigger screen like the TV or the monitor. You get it? These companies know that gamers understand the hefty price of true complete PC gaming rig and change their attention to handheld. And that's how the PC master race is using that divergence to dominate. still on pricing, let's talk about that with their games. PC gaming has long been favored for its lower game prices and frequent sales. However, when it comes to games to newer releases, there is a little difference between consoles and PCs. Consoles also offer regular sales, providing discounts on older titles similar to the PC platforms like the Steam Deck and Epic Games. Additionally, subscription services like the Xbox Game Pass and PlayStation Plus grant access to hundreds of quality games at a great value. Both also include online multiplayer as part of their subscription. While console exclusives used to be major selling point, most are now available on PC, though the release gap can vary. As such, consoles like the PS5 still enjoy timed exclusivity, so if you like to get your hands on a much anticipated exclusive on day one, the PS5 still shines at this regard. Okay, so now let's talk about the gaming library. We all know console gaming library is limited. Well, unless you're on Xbox, which can play games all the way down to the original Xbox games. But what if you are using a PS5, being the console almost everyone is having? Wanna play classics? Be prepared to either purchase your old games again or become a collector of older generation hardware or software. Nintendo and Xbox win on this part when it comes to backward compatibility of the consoles. Okay, so let's say you're in 2026 already and you wanna have a nostalgic moment playing your childhood DS games and you don't have a Nintendo DS. The fact that you cannot play all the DS games on Switch 2 is another bomb. Before I move to PC, you might be saying, but PC cannot run old games natively. Well, all old PC games are still playable to date on Windows. Only if you can get their setup, you're good to go. Compatibility issues are easily solved by running the games in the previous compatible platform all the way down to Windows 95. Talking about emulation, as a general purpose computer, PCs have many ways of obtaining and playing games. The most interesting and arguably divisive way is emulation. This allows the user to run software all the way back to the earliest days of computing on modern machines. It also allows the users to run games from virtually any console on a PC. Even consoles make use of emulation for select game titles. On PC, however, the door is wide open and users can essentially play thousands upon thousands of games, with the addition of new games being released on PCs on a daily basis. So it is safe to say the gaming library of PC is cumulative and near infinite backwards compatible, not only for PC games, but just about any game ever released. Upon research I did, the PC's emulation capability is massively wider than any current console, having almost gaming platform emulation available on it, from Nintendo Switch to Xbox One and PS4. So here's my actual take. For decades, consoles were an obvious choice for most gamers. They were cheaper, which they still are, had comparable graphics power at their launch, required minimal technical expertise, and were the only way to play some of the biggest games of a given year. But in 2026, GTA 6 will kiss off PCs goodbye, not this time. But don't get me wrong, now all these arguments apply more to portable PCs like the Steam Deck than they do to consoles. Talking about streaming, PC games includes the option to stream games to other devices such as the smart TVs, mobile phones and more, from another PC in the house or building or from the cloud. For the price of gaming, PC gaming doesn't require a subscription. Gaming titles tend to be cheaper on PC, and even outside the sales, events and discounts are more frequent than on consoles. The gaming library on PC is and will always be unmatched in size to any walled garden, especially now that both Microsoft and in particular Sony have started releasing their flagship titles on PCs. In the case of Sony, they even seem to keep Steam Deck compatibility in mind when doing so. Comparing the prices of the hardwares, I think PC gaming is okay. It is no longer locked to a specific operating system or even specific hardware. It allows users to get started with low fidelity gaming for a price similar to the game consoles to upgrade later on. And last but not least, my favorite, modifications. You see, PC gaming allows players to modify games to their preferred way of play. Thanks to the modern community, it also empowers talent and volunteers to fix old games as well. At this point, I strongly believe in 2026 and many years to come, PCs won't surpass consoles because it already has in many ways, but rather consoles will eventually become more of like PCs. Alright, so that's my take on PC's first console for 2026 and beyond. Probably I'll be doing more videos as we get more updates on hardwares and softwares for these platforms. And drop down your comments on your take on this and I'll be there to reply them. Alright, so that's it for now. Subscribe for more content like this. See you later. Bye for now.